Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts.
In this video, I'll be looking at Nightclub 2, issues 1 and 2. Okay, so I I've got both issues of Nightclub 2 at the moment. This one was delayed because the shipment was delayed, and then issue 2. So I ordered issue 2 before I even got issue 1. Not gonna lie, when I read issue 1, I wasn't that sure I was gonna like it. I thought it was gonna be just the setting, the way it's going to be all drug dealers and the bad. It was going to the bad guy was going to recruit one of the good guys. Anyway, let's get to that and see what changed my mind after issue 2. So we start off with these apparently dead kids in the back of a car. First off, the artwork is lovely in this. Um, and it turns out these are our two heroes. They've been shot. They are actually vampires. And they're kind of trying to track down this kind of drug trade for this kind of effectively Mr. Big character. They put themselves in harm's way, so hopefully they were going to get dragged out to the kind of the to meet the boss and kind of so they can show off they've been killed. But it this time didn't actually turn that way. But yeah, there's a quite cool thing about they're filming each other and they're kind of putting it on TikTok and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. Um, and there's some nice bits in it where kind of like the girl goes, "Oh, did I call your real name when we were fighting? Because if I did, oh, don't worry, I can edit all that out." It's actually quite good, and they mentioned that about Beast Boys and about turning into vampire bats, and said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Beast Boys and Teen Titans does it." All this kind of stuff, and then they've got Captain Middleton, which is this copper, and they mentioned like, "Oh yeah, you're our Commissioner Gordon or J. Jonah Jameson to our Captain Middleton." And the other kind of cop kind of says, "Oh yeah, well actually, Peter Parker's editor was J. Jonah Jameson." Yeah, so it's kind of some nice references, but it's also the references are kind of like old enough not to be current. We haven't got like Taylor Swift jokes or anything like that in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, whatever people go, oh, what? Sorry. So quite cool. Um, and they don't know they're vampires. They basically just know they're superheroes. So apparently, again, I never read the first volume, so I don't know if this actually happened in volume 1 or whatever. Apparently, the other member of the group um, declared his love for the lass in the group, and she turned him down, and basically the other two got together instead. He's kind of been kind of isolated himself from the other two, but apparently, if you wear a hoodie at not in the daytime, you don't burn up in the sunlight, but it obviously causes discomfort, and they apparently kind of uh, pass it off as like a COVID reaction, which is quite interesting. Um, so the other kid though is now a basketball star because he's basically using his vampire abilities to be really, really cool, and he's not very happy about it because apparently his ex-girlfriend is kind of dating him now, um, and they're trying to kind of bring him back into the fold by talking to him, and he kind of said, "Yeah, not interested. I'm doing what I'm doing now. I've got these other people around me. It's fine." And I thought, "Oh, this is what kind of annoyed me." 'Cause I thought, "Oh, this kid's going to annoy the hell out of me. He's going to be all arrogant and all swaggery and all this kind of stuff." And it's like, "Oh dear, do I want to read, a miniseries where one of the three characters that you're supposed to kind of rooting for is fundamentally unlikable?" Um, it doesn't actually turn out that way. He's kind of got more of a annoyance with these two rather than kind of being totally unlikable. So it's kind of more of a personal thing, which is that's fair enough. That works out, Ryan. Um, anyway, this guy's been tracked down by these drug dealer chaps, and our vampire friend goes in there and beats the crap out of them, and kind of says, "Right, take me to the boss." Takes him to the boss. Apparently, they're kind of to be super super smart and super intelligent. So this guy's convinced he's going to be like a tech millionaire in a couple of years' time just by being super smart. And whether that's a vampire thing or whether it's because an age thing, can't age thing, I don't know. Anyway, you go and see the boss, and the boss basically says, "Oh yeah, okay, you've just kicked the crap out of all my guys. How about working for me?" And I thought, okay, this is where it's going to get. We're going to see the unlikable kid is going to be the drug thing, and it's all going to kind of come to a head where they, eventually the other two kids are kind of going to track down the drug lord, and it's going to be him on the opposite side kind of thing. And I thought, meh, Okay, fair enough. It kind of sideswipes that in issue 2, though. It's pretty clever. Pretty clever. So, again, color cover, black and white covers, sorry. Love them. Very, very nice. So, I obviously read that first of all and thought, okay, well, I'll stick with issue 2. I've already got it by this time, so I thought I'll read it instead. So, he flat turns him down straight at the beginning. They attack him, and again, he kind of promises to do stuff. Says, no, don't need it. He says, I'm one of the good guys. Anyway, so he's got his girlfriend there, and she's kind of like going, "Oh, you're so fantastic. Oh, you're so brilliant, whatever." And ex-boyfriend is not very happy about it. He goes and sees his grandpa in his hoodie, and they're mentioning about this, the weakness, sunlight and all this kind of stuff. And he basically says, you know, try and talk to him a bit because it's not worth losing friends over. So he goes to go and see the friends. Ironically enough, they're watching the mask out and there's not in the darkness. Trying to go to see the lass, calls her in and basically says, "Yep, no, I'm with the other one now. You shouldn't have made this meeting." So he goes off in a grump, and then he does something very, really stupid, and basically spreads the secret to the girl. So basically tells the girl he's a vampire, and now again, you think, okay, this character's not the smartest. So then you're gonna make me a vampire because you'll be 18 permanently, and I think, okay, now either you're stupid because you think she's gonna want to do it, or she's stupid because she just basically just takes a spur in a minute moment and just goes, oh, make me a vampire, that'd be brilliant, and they call, So he says, right, okay, right, if that happens, then you're gonna be dead for 3 days, and then you'll raise up as a vampire. Okay, and it's like, right, okay. So he kills her with a vampire bite. 3 days later, he goes back to retrieve her, and she's not there. So he goes around looking for her all the while, and nobody's seen her at all until he goes back, tries to call the kids as well. He goes back to the house of her 3 full days and finds out that she has murdered a housekeeper. And it's like, oh my god, what you've done? It's crazy. And it's like, oh no, you do realise I conned you into turning me into a vampire because I've now turned every arsehole in the school that you were having problems with into a vampire as well. And then there's now a massive slew of vampires that are going to cause massive problems. I thought that was a quite a cool fake out. So I don't know if this was the original intention of her and they all knew he was a vampire beforehand or whatever, but pretty cool. And then he gets stabbed in the guts by her and he's not very happy. She's back with her old boyfriend and it's all seemed to be a big con to basically get turned into vampires. That's quite cool. I mean, it's it's quite nice. This is very, very street level. There's not like a super villain as such, but it's still in the same world of all the kind of nemesis and all this kind of stuff. So I thought that was a nice little, switcheroo. So I will definitely stick with this. I think go through to the end. Magic Order is next. That'll be soon. But yeah, all in all, actually pretty decent. Yeah, if you're interested in anything from the Millerverse, which not being funny, most of the stuff I've read, you know, has been really, really good. Then I suggest you pick this up. If you're a fan of vampires, it's pretty cool as well. Yeah, it's a nice little plot. Someone's thought this one out pretty decently. So yeah, very cool. Anyway, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about this one for now. So hopefully I'll be back in the next day or so with some more comics. I have a lot more to review, and I will see you then. Thanks very much. Bye bye.